Of Guardian Investment Advisors, and I'm honored to host this show most every week if I'm here, but pretty pumped up today because we got the three amigos back in here, guys. What's up?
It's been a full house. Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while since we all been together, so this is going to be kind of fun. So sitting in here with me today is Tim McDermott, Bobby Futch, fiduciary advisors, two of the smartest advisors I know, and of course I'm being a little selfish there because they work here at Guardian, but we are going to have a lot of fun today, guys, because we're really going to start hitting on, I mean, here it is December already. Mm-hmm. You know, we got a new year up on us, and it's going to be, I'm looking forward to 2026. I really am, but I think there's a lot of things people should be doing right now to get ready for 2026. But before we jump into that, Bobby, tell me how your week's going, man.
It's going really well. You know, we had family over for the holidays.
Thanksgiving was awesome, right?
Yeah, my mom came up from Jacksonville. My sisters, my wife's sisters were all in town. Yeah. So we had a big time. We had about 10, 12 folks over at her father's house. It was a great time.
That's great. And Tim, you went down to see your dad down in Jacksonville.
The Sunshine State.
Jacksonville parents coming up. He went down to see Jacksonville parents.
Yeah.
It was good. We went down to Jacksonville, the Sunshine State, took my kids out to see the beach. I think it was the first time my son's ever seen the beach.
Oh, that's
cool.
Interesting.
What do you think? Did he just
he
wide-eyed
or
he
just didn't? Different.
He's like, hey, that's a lot of water.
My daughter did go touch the water, so it was good. We had a good time.
I love Jacksonville Beach, and I mean, I've said this 100 times to different people. Like, it's the best sunrise. I'm one of the best I've ever seen.
Very pretty over there.
It's absolutely amazing. But I'm glad you guys had a good Thanksgiving. I was going to mention, I told you guys, we went down with one of myself and Rhonda went down with a group last night to Sweet and Savory. If you haven't done that, we had a blast.
That's that cooking class.
It's
right?
A cooking class with Chef Ted, and he was quite entertaining.
Nice.
But man, they got a system down. You know, we just had a great time. So if you're listening here in the Chattanooga area, and I'm sure they up in Knoxville as well, cooking classes, take your group, take your family, take your friends.
What was the favorite thing you cooked?
Oh, well, we did a pork loin, and the way we did it and flavored it and seasoned it, and he showed us, how to take the skins off and everything to make it so, nice and pretty. But that pork was absolutely amazing.
That's awesome. Cool.
And one thing I don't like, Tim, you know this, mushrooms. We had
four
mushrooms? Different types of mushrooms.
Oh, yeah.
And I had never had any of these types, and he showed me. And he just educated me on the mushrooms. And once you put them over that pork and the gravy and everything else we did, man, it was good. It was good. Yeah, it was.
You're a mushroom guy now.
I'm not a mushroom guy now. But I'm testing the waters, boys. I'm testing the waters. So, guys, let's just jump into this. Here we are, December. And Tim, I will start with you. Why does December matter so much?
Well, Christmas is right around the corner.
Sure.
We got to get our Christmas gifts going, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the financial side, though, there's several deadlines in December, right? We're getting close to the end of the year. And one of the big things that are out there that Bobby and I have been doing and following up with our clients on recently is RMDs, right? Those have to be done by December 31st. You have to make sure that they are out of your accounts so that you can pay the taxes on those by December 31st. And so Bobby and I actually just got done with a round of calls to all of our clients who are of that age and let them know, hey, this is the amount that you got to take out. How would you like to do it? And I guess, QCDs are a part of that, right?
No, sure. Yeah.
We end up taking those RMDs and using them as qualified charitable distributions.
Yeah, that's a big planning tool you can use. If you're donating to charities regularly anyway, right? Don't necessarily need to spend your RMD. It's just added income to your income tax return. QCDs are a great way to do that. Really, it's one of those things, you don't file your taxes, most folks, until April of next year.
Right.
But your taxes are kind of locked in by the end of the year. Yep. So if you need to do any tax planning, you need to adjust your withholdings, you need to do anything like that, you only have until December 31st.
So, Bobby, sticking with that, December 31st, is that the last day someone can do a Roth conversion for 2025?
Yeah, Roth conversions, right, have to be done in the calendar year in which you're going to file your income tax return for.
Okay.
So even though you're not going to file it until April, You need to have it done by the end of the calendar year. And that's why it takes a little bit of extra planning to do those well. You know, you can kind of throw a dart at a dartboard and guess at a Roth conversion. But if you're going to do it, you're going to try to maximize it. You really need to try to come up with like maybe a pro forma income tax return.
Right.
Sure.
You know, kind of get close to what your income taxes are going to look like when you file next year. That way you can maximize those Roth conversions.
So, Tim, here we are, 1st of December. Is it too late for someone to come in and sit down with you and Bobby and start doing some Roth conversions for this year?
I wouldn't say it's
We're
too
pushing
late
it.
just
You need to get
yet.
on it, though.
Yeah.
You need to get on it.
I've got a couple slots open tomorrow.
Yeah.
Make your way in. That stuff does take time, right? And I've been able to do some of those things pretty quickly if needed. But planning that out, especially into next year, might make sense as well for a lot of folks.
So, Bobby, what about folks? I mean, is this a good time to look at your current income, what you think your income is going to be next year, and start going, wow, are we holding too little? Are we holding too much? I mean, is that something they should sit down with their financial planner and talk about, or their CPA?
Yeah, tax withholding is a big one, right? And not a lot of people, you fill out that form when you start a new job and you don't think about it anymore. But it can be a really good planning tool, right? You can withhold too little by accident, and then you end up owing Uncle Sam a big check come April. But you can withhold if you've got 1099 income, or you have income coming from other places that isn't your W-2 income.
Right.
You can withhold extra from your paycheck to help
Right.
pay those things. So, we can certainly help you with that. Your CPA is certainly an expert in that. So if you end up having to pay a tax bill every year, your W-2 withholding can be a good tool to do that with.
Absolutely. And something that we always offer you guys, if you really want to truly see if you're ready to retire, go to GIAquiz.com. GIAquiz.com. It's 35 questions, takes 7 to 10 minutes to answer the questions from the comfort of your home. We'll get the report in, you'll get the report in, then you can come in and see these guys and have a conversation about your pre-retirement plan or post-retirement plan, wherever you're at in life. Tim, I want to bring this up. It's really not in our notes, but end of the year, business owners. This is big, right? And you know what is fascinating to me, that business owners, some of them just don't know some of the rules that are out there about paying your kids, putting your children on the payroll. They get a standard deduction. There's so many neat things that business owners can be doing right now.
Yeah, there's a slew of different things that you can do, especially for business owners. If you've got a SEP IRA, or if you don't have a SEP IRA, might be something to look into.
Right.
It's an easy way to max out a retirement plan that's much further and beyond what a traditional IRA would allow you to do. You could look at doing those Roth conversions. Maybe you're in a year where income was light for one reason or another, or you got a bunch of write-offs this year that kind of set your taxable income back. Might be a good time to start looking at taking some of that SEP IRA contribution that you've already done and converting that to Roth IRAs at the same time.
And a lot of business owners, budget ahead of time, right? So they're already looking into 2026. And if you've got to buy equipment or make big expenses in
Good time to
2026,
buy that. Yep.
right, and you need extra deductions now, pull some of that ahead to 2025.
Yeah.
Or we're in the window now, if you want to push some of that spending out to 2026, because you're forecasting 2026 to be an even better year than 2025.
Oh, yeah.
We're in a
Be
great,
smart.
great window now that you can kind of move expenses around.
And Bobby, what about people that are 50 and older? Is this a good time to say, okay, I've put X amount of dollars into my 401k. However, I can do a catch-up contribution.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, is that not a big deal?
It is, and I'd say that's probably part of the withholding conversation, right? It's not tax withholding, but you need to go look and see how much you're putting in your 401k plan or your retirement plans at work, and adjust those things, and check those beneficiaries.
Yeah, I was about to say
A lot of
beneficiaries are
people
big, right?
Don't look at their beneficiaries often enough. For most people, it's a set it and forget it, but not always.
Divorce,
Death, something like that. We see it.
all the time.
Not often, but
See it a lot.
way too often that there's an ex-spouse that's still beneficiaries on 401ks or
That makes
life
for-
insurance.
That makes for an awkward conversation.
Especially if
sometimes,
you're
but-
remarried, that makes for a really bad conversation.
Yeah, right. And really, if you have a vindictive ex-spouse and you pass away,
Oh,
there's not a whole
nothing to-
lot your
nothing you
kids
can
or
do
your
about
new
it.
spouse can do about it.
That's
so
right.
make sure you check those IRA.
So let's still have fun right here at the end of this first segment, guys. And Tim, I'm going to start with you. So let's do a little truth or myth moment here.
Okay.
Both of you jump in here. But Tim, the IRS will give you a break if you miss your RMD because you simply forgot.
That is more true now than it used to be.
That's correct. However,
but I wouldn't rely on it.
Right.
Yeah, they're under no obligation to forgive
That's
that
right.
penalty.
Yeah, so your RMD, that required minimum distribution that you have to take out each year, it used to be the largest penalty in
Yeah.
in the
tax code.
IRS tax
Right.
code, right?
Mhm.
Used to be 50% of whatever you didn't take out, you were penalized on. They've now dropped that back to 25%. And usually they will forgive it if you write in a nice letter and say, I'm so sorry, I forgot, please forgive me. But if you did it year after year after year,
They're not gonna do that.
Yeah, they're probably not.
So I mean, I read somewhere, Bobby, they could reduce the penalty down to 10%,
10%,
whatever
yep.
the case may be. But the bottom line is, if you're someone taking RMDs, it's just like having an income plan. You need to have a plan on how to take those RMDs, correct?
That's exactly right. And even if you don't have a plan to maximize it, take it.
Yeah.
Right? Because Uncle Sam's going to take a quarter of what you should have taken. And we have some clients and prospects we see with pretty large RMDs.
Yeah, and
That's
so
a lot
let's,
of money.
let's talk about it. We don't have much time, Bobby, but what is something, give me one thing somebody can do with an RMD if they don't need the money.
Qualified charitable distributions.
Yeah.
Give it to your church, give it to your charity.
Buy life insurance?
Buy life insurance. There's a lot you can do with it.
Yeah. You know, we got a great BLP plan. You
Yeah.
know, they can put money into. So anyway, there's a lot of things you can do with that RMD money, folks. I'd love to have a conversation with you about those RMDs. Come in and sit down with Tim, Bobby Brogan up in our Knoxville office. Let's make sure that your December is headed in the right direction. Something I would like to offer you guys right now is my book, Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. All you have to do is give us a call, 423-710-9199. Sorry. Let the ladies know that you'd like a copy of our book, Plan Today, Own Tomorrow, or simply text the word book to 423-710-9199. Again, text the word book to 423-710-9199, and we'll send a copy of our book, Plan Today, Own Tomorrow, right out to you. That way you can read that book, then come in and have a conversation with the guys and say, hey, I'm ready to start getting ready for retirement, or hey, I'm already in retirement. I want my retirement to get better. That's what these guys do day in and day out, is make sure that your retirement is awesome so you can live every day like a Saturday. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about your final checklist of this year. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Are you ready to retire? I don't know. It's not an acceptable answer, because if you're not ready to retire with enough money to last until your last breath, when would you like to know? We created a quiz to give you a clear idea of retirement readiness, income, Social Security, tax debt, health care. Get a clear picture of how ready you are and where you need help. Get a second opinion. It's free. Go to GIAquiz.com for your retirement readiness score. Welcome back to Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. My name's Gary Thurman, CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors, in here with my good friends Tim McDermott, Bobby Futch, fiduciary advisors here in Chattanooga, and we also have our Brogan Walters, Mr. Brogan, up in our Knoxville office. If you're listening to us in Chattanooga, come and see the guys. Let's have a conversation about your retirement. If you're in the Knoxville area, Sweetwater, Athens, go see Brogan. Let's make sure that we get you set up. In saying that, yes, we have two different locations, folks, Knoxville, Chattanooga, but we work together as a team always to make sure we have your retirement set up correctly. So I like this segment here, gentlemen, because we're talking about folks that are actually going to retire at the end of this year.
That's what we do.
That's what we do, right? So it's your final checklist, so to speak. You're retiring at the end of this year. You got to get so many things set up, and now it's time to start shifting some things around, Bobby. It's time to really, your mindset has to shift more than anything. But let's talk about maybe that big life moment, and why is it so important that they are getting stuff in order right now?
Yeah, a lot of people just assume that when you retire, all those benefits and retirement packages just happen. You're going to get a big old package in the mail or from your HR, and you got to look through that, make sure you understand it, fill it out. We've got a lot of really good large employers here in this area.
Sure do.
And some of them offer retirement and medical coverage and those sorts of things. But pensions, some of them, we're still seeing pensions every once in a while. You have to plan with those tools.
Well, you got more options now than you've ever seen, right? It was kind of nice to retire, click on a pension plan, turn on Social Security, and call it a day.
Yeah, that's changed.
But it's really not that way anymore. Now, I'd say we've got probably more options now than ever. I mean, how many times do we have somebody from a teacher that walks in and they have their own healthcare plan they can use, or they can look at all the Medicare options?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes it's a blend of both, I think.
Yeah.
So, Tim, how important is, folks, I mean, we're coming at the end of the month, how important is it for them to confirm that what that final paycheck is going to be? Are they going to have any PTO they can
Yeah.
still use after retirement? And what about a bonus? Maybe they get a bonus at the end of the year. How important is that stuff to know?
Yeah, we've had a surprising number of folks who are saying, "Hey, I'm not going to retire. I do want to retire next year, but not until April 1st or not until July 31st."
For what reason?
And because they're getting their bonus at
Right,
that point,
yeah.
right? If they retire January 1st, they don't get their
We'll
extra bonus.
redact the names so the employers don't
That's
hear this.
right.
But
Yeah.
it's important, right? Because that's a meaningful amount of money.
It's a pretty
and
big
if you just
chunk.
stay for a couple more months, you get a big bump in pay for the year.
you're
Why
put-
wouldn't you do that?
You put more money back into your 401k plans. You put more money back into whatever plans you have, and now you're going to get that bonus as well that you can do something with, right, Bobby?
That's exactly right.
Tim brought up health coverage a few minutes ago at Cobra. You know, a lot of people just assume they go on Cobra, but it says, especially if you're someone 65 and above, this is when you really need to check that health coverage because Cobra is expensive.
It is.
And maybe you should have a conversation with Tanner about getting on Medicare versus staying on that group
There's
coverage.
a big misunderstanding about Cobra that I want to point out. You know, you see money get taken out of your check every month or every 2 weeks for healthcare coverage, right? Whatever your plan is. That may not be the full cost of that plan. It may be subsidized by your
Probably
employer.
isn't. Yeah.
And so if you go on Cobra, not only are you paying what you used to pay, you're paying your employer's part, and then there's a fee on top of that for
It's
administering
almost
it.
doubles what kind of what we've seen, right,
It's
Bobby?
very expensive.
Yeah.
And very rarely, if you're 65, does it make sense to stay on Cobra.
Agreed.
You know, it oftentimes doesn't make sense anyway. You know,
Right.
go see Tanner and get on a marketplace plan. You know, you have a lot more options there too, not just what you have, and you know,
Yeah.
kind of take what you can get with the Cobra plan.
I've also seen Tanner talk to folks that are 65 and above that are still working, and they have group health insurance, and he'll compare the two. And sometimes the group health insurance is, hey, you stay on it, but sometimes Medicare is the right way to go. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Again, more options than ever, right?
That's right. Tim, you brought up, you know, in the past, you know, I'll use my grandfather as a reference. My grandfather retired from he worked for the same paper company for 30-something years, retired with a Social Security, a really good one, retired with a pension. They gave him a little gold watch. He didn't have anything to worry about. Income planning was done for him.
Good life.
That has changed. It's changed a lot. So right now, if you're retiring December 31st, your income plan moving into next year is probably the most important thing you should be doing.
Yeah, that's kind of the basis of the planning that we do. Client walks in the door and says, "Hey, I'd like to retire at this point," or "I'm not sure when I can retire." We always go back to how much income can we get to this person?
That's right,
How much
yeah.
income does this person want? And then what do we do with the assets to kind of get them to that goal, right? And it's got to be the number one thing. Part of the income planning process, and I think this is missed a lot of times, folks will come in with a quote-unquote income plan,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll say, "Hey, somebody's drawn this up for me. This is what it looks like." It doesn't include taxes,
Mm-hmm.
so you're looking at gross numbers, and then you're also not taking into account inflation along the way. And if either one of those things are left out of that income plan, it's a great way to see that thing kind of collapse in a few years.
And have you guys seen this, that a lot of people come in and see you guys and they're like, we have an income plan with our current advisor, and it's just drawing money out of their market base, their IRAs, their Schwab accounts, or whatever their account may be, Fidelity. They're just pulling money out, Bobby.
Yeah, we
How
see that.
dangerous is that?
That's really dangerous. You know, and a lot of planners are still working on, you know, the old 4%
4% rule? Yeah.
which we don't think works anymore. And there's a bunch of reasons for that. Volatility in the market now is as high as it's ever been, in my opinion. And so the 4% rule can change based on what you have in that account, right? The market value of the account. It's a simple math problem. Take 4% of whatever's there. Well, if you have the market correct 20%, now all of a sudden your 4% isn't nearly what it used
No.
to be. And you've got to make changes to your spending plan.
Right.
Is that really what you want to do in retirement?
In retirement, that's stressful.
That's stressful. And then when you go through that period, you know, your market account does good, you're going to be hesitant to take more money, right? Because, well, we need to save that for the rainy day. There are better ways to plan for a guaranteed, steady income in retirement.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, so Tim, I'm going to come back to you for our bucket system in a minute. But look, if you don't know if you're ready to retire yet, go to GIAquiz.com. GIAquiz.com. Take the test. Come in and see the guys. Have a conversation about it. It's 35 questions. Takes 7 to 10 minutes. GIAquiz.com.
Can I say one more thing?
Please,
on that
jump in.
income planning? On the income planning side, not only are we looking to make sure that we guarantee enough income to last you throughout retirement, in a lot of cases here recently, we've seen income planning to where we're trying to actually reduce income later on, right?
That's right.
Where we've seen RMDs that are taken that we don't necessarily want or need down the road. And so how do we reduce that income to reduce your taxable burden? And that's where a lot of Roth conversions have come into place.
You got to be tax efficient with
That's
your
right.
income as well.
So are you doing this? We're talking about somebody that's retiring this year, but it just sparked sparked my mind. Someone 59 and a half and 60 years old, they can start doing this planning right now.
They can. That's one of the nice things about most retirement plans. When I say most, there's very few out there that don't allow this anymore. When you get to that age 59 and a half, they usually allow that employee to roll over that plan as an in-service rollover.
Right.
You can still work there. You can still keep the 401k
Yeah, still get your
active.
match.
You can still get your match, but you can take the majority of those assets and roll them out into a self-directed IRA. And the question is, why would you do that, right? Well, you're doing it because if you've ever looked in the your list of investment options inside that 401k, you're probably limited to maybe 24 different mutual funds. And a lot of times there's not really a great safe option inside.
Right.
There. Maybe a bond fund. We know where bonds are at. They're at almost lows for bond yields right now.
Yeah.
And they run the interest rate risk. And so folks are looking for safety outside of that. Where do you go to do that? And that's where working with someone like us we can really help look at some alternative investment options.
So, Bobby, throw in here real quick. We're close on time. We've got another truth or myth question. But, our bucket system helps people understand this so clearly, I think.
Yeah, we've developed a bucket system, and it works like a traffic light. We got a yellow, red bucket, and a green bucket. And they all serve different purposes. They're all important in planning. The yellow bucket's your bank money. You got to have that safety money when the transmission goes out or your air condition goes out at the house and you don't want to have to pull from your retirement funds. Your red bucket is money in the market. It's important for everyone to have money in the market. Tim mentioned taxes and inflation
That's
earlier.
right. Got to have it.
That's the bucket that helps deal with those. And the green bucket is really kind of my favorite, right? It's the one that we fill up enough to make sure that you're not going to outlive your income
That's
in
right.
retirement.
That's what those 401ks are usually missing.
That's right.
That's right.
And 401ks are almost always in the red bucket.
That's right. And a 401k is a vehicle. It's
That's right.
not an income plan. It's
That's
a
right.
vehicle. So, all right, Bobby, you get this one. Truth or myth? I should turn on Social Security the day I retire.
Maybe. Right? I don't think I was going to try to put the words truth and myth in together and mash them together. I couldn't come up with one on the top of my head. It's part of the income plan. Maybe when you retire, if you need the money, take it. But there could be reasons why you would take it earlier. If you're working past full retirement age, work and take Social Security. I don't want people to think retirement is the time that you turn on your Social Security as a default. That's dangerous.
And a lot of people do that.
And a lot of people do that. It may be very well how your plan would be structured, but there's a little more to that than just, hey, I'm retiring today, I'm turning my Social Security on.
So someone's retiring December 31st, Tim, they're 62 years old. They're not going to go back to work. They have no desire. They've done well. They've planned well. Do they turn their Social Security on at 62, or they wait till 65? They wait till 67? They wait till 70?
Yeah, and that's it's kind of
Everybody's
a
gonna
big
be
question,
different.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
8 to 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say probably go ahead and turn it on.
Yeah.
And it's for the simple fact that you've got to pull that income from somewhere. You might as well pull it from Uncle Sam's pocket instead of your own pocket and let your own pocket continue to grow as much.
If you need the money to pay the bills, it always almost makes sense to use Uncle Sam's money instead of yours.
Why would you not? Why would you not? And there's a lot of things you can do with that Social Security money as well. Maybe you need health insurance in the marketplace because you're only 62. You're not qualified for Medicare yet. Maybe that pays for your health insurance. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways to look at it. The bottom line is, when it comes to Social Security planning, folks, don't just do what your uncle did. Don't do what your coworker did. Come in and sit down with Tim, Bobby, Brogan. Work with a fiduciary advisor to show you how to optimize your Social Security benefits, because it's going to be one of the biggest income factors in your retirement plan. So we want to make sure it's done correctly, bottom line. Something we'd like to do. We offered you the GIAquiz.com from the comfort of your home, GIAquiz.com. Take the quiz, come in and see the guys, have a conversation about it. Something else we're offering today, though, is a free copy of my book, Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. All you do have to simply call 423-710-9199. Let Bridget or Abby know that you'd like a copy of my book. They'll send it right out to you in the mail. Or this is even more simple. Text the word book to 423-710-9199, and we'll reach out and get everything sent to you. Again, text the word book, 423-710-9199. Guys, when we come back, we're going to talk about taxes, Roth windows, and the 2026 shift. That's kind of hard to say for me. A guy with a lisp, that's kind of hard. Anyway, we're going to talk about a lot of taxes when we come back, guys. Stay tuned.
The scariest 4 words in retirement: out of money forever.
That's the number one fear we hear, running out of money before running out of life. You've worked decades to build savings, but without a plan, that nest egg could dry up faster than you think.
And let's be honest, the market alone won't guarantee your income.
Exactly. That's why we create income streams that last as long as you do. It's about turning savings into a paycheck for life.
To get your income planning guide, text the word income to 877-706-7526.
Welcome back to Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors, in here today with my good friends Tim and Bobby, and we're really talking about everything you should be doing at the end of the year. Here we are at the end of 2025 to get ready for the next year, 2026, which we're all looking forward to.
Because that list isn't big enough already, right?
No, yeah, you got Christmas going on, family, travel, everything else, and now we're piling a bunch of other homework upon you. But hey, folks, I'm telling you, if you can sacrifice the time to do some of the things we're talking about today, I promise you it's going to make next year better. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you, educate you, to get ready for the next year and the year after that and the year after that. That's what it's all about. That's why we give away my book, Plan Today, You Can Own Tomorrow, and have a great time in retirement.
Gary, I will say this is an important few weeks right here.
Sure.
As we're kind of loading into December and getting ready for 2026. This is a time where actually my wife and I just last night sat down and relooked at our budget, relooked at our expenses. I know it's busy season right now, but it's a great time to sit down and do this. It's got to get done. Whether you ignore it and push it off till January or you do it right now, don't procrastinate. This is a great time to be doing things like this, talking about end-of-year planning.
And I love you. You just brought up something that we've talked about on the show so many times. So we see sometimes, Bobby, that a couple will come in, and the majority of the time, the gentleman is handling all the finances, all the expenses, and she has no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
And my friend Rebecca Waller said something to me. She goes, her plan is only as good as his plan.
Mm-hmm.
So she needs to know what's going on in her plan.
Yeah, that's huge.
You talked about, you and Joel sat down and did that last night. This is something me and Rhonda do all the time. Bobby, how important is that?
Yeah, it's absolutely vital. You know, whenever we rarely meet with one person in a couple, and even if we do for our Discover meeting, just kind of figure out what's going on, we'll almost always say, hey, we'd really like to meet with your spouse as well. Because we see it all too often. You're right, Gary. Most of the time, it's the man that does and plans and has all that taken care of.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to die first, right?
Most likely him.
Most likely it's the guy. And we've seen that a couple times this year where there's that misbalance of financial information in a family, and their surviving spouse is just lost, right? Doesn't understand where the money's coming from, doesn't understand where it goes. It adds additional stress to an already stressful situation for that person. So
plan together.
Plan together.
It makes life so much easier. So let's talk about this, Tim. Why are we've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, months, years now, taxes are on sale. Why are tax brackets today at a historical low, and how long can we expect them to stay that way?
Why are they at a historical low? What a loaded question. Politics. Would be the quick answer.
That's
to that,
a quick
right?
answer, right? Yeah.
I think it's an important point, though, right? Because at some point they've got to come up.
They do.
They can only kick the political can down the road for so long.
So 2017, the Secure Act came out.
Correct. And that's what changed it to the lower income tax brackets that we sit today. This year, the One Big Beautiful Bill came out and extended that to a quote unquote permanent structure, right? And several other tax cuts along the way. Can we stay here? I don't think so.
So, Bobby, what are your thoughts there? Now, we know. Let's go back here for a few minutes because Mr. Trump came into office. They extended the Secure Act tax bracket, third lowest we've ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
So we know for sure that we're going to have this till the end of 2028. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree with that, right?
But we don't know, to Tim's point, what happens if a new administration comes in 2029?
We always say it's permanent until it's not. I like
Right.
saying that. It's permanent. That's the way it's written, but all it takes is a vote in Congress to change it.
Yep.
And politics aside, we're in the third lowest income tax bracket we've ever been in, and our debt is bigger than it ever has been, and it's growing. I need to memorize this number you use, Gary, because we talk about
$56,000.
It's almost $60,000 a second.
a second. When you say $2 trillion a year, okay, that's a big number. A year's a
Yeah.
long time.
Think about that.
It doesn't hit as much as $60,000 a second
Yep.
that we're adding to the
60,000.
deficit. At some point, we need to have a little
60,000.
clock behind here.
We do.
60,000.
Yeah.
The point is, it's got to be paid for somehow,
It does.
right? And the only revenue stream the federal government has is taxes, not necessarily individual income taxes. There are other taxes.
A tariff's a tax,
Yeah,
right?
taxes
There's
have to go
many
up to pay
different
for
ways
it.
to do it.
So is this important for retirees? Is this important for people in their 40s and 50s? Is this where people younger than 40 years old?
It's important for everyone,
Everybody.
right? Because everyone is going to be subject to that income tax increase at some point in the future. Again, we don't know when it's coming. We don't have a crystal ball, but I would say 99.999% sure taxes are going to go up in the future.
Yeah,
Just
taxes
the math.
have to be, if it's not a part of your conversation with your financial advisor, you might have a big issue on your hands.
It's only important to people that need income.
Okay, fair
Right?
enough.
And-
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is most people.
and who needs income? If you're working, right, you've got your income coming in. You need to make sure you're paying attention to that. But it's even more important to people that have a fixed income or an income plan in retirement, because you're not as nimble in retirement. So you need to make sure you're planning for those tax increases.
So, Tim, you got someone coming in here, and they've done well. They've got a couple $1 million in their portfolio. You're actually telling them to spend more money now and pay taxes now. That's a hard conversation, gentlemen. But if this person is sitting on an RMD tax bomb,
Yes.
how important Roth conversions right now?
Yeah, it's a lot of what our conversation has been focused on this year. Almost as important as the income planning side of things. We want to make sure your income's taken care of first, and then very second to that, we're talking about taxes. We're talking about the advantages that we have right now with the One Big Beautiful Bill, adding some new deductions and a couple of other things in place. It's a good time to be looking at doing.
Yeah,
Roth
we've just
conversions.
started hitting it on the head with prospects and clients. They come in and say, "Hey, we got a plan for you, and I'm going to increase your taxes."
Yeah.
Right? Just get it out on the table, and they kind of laugh and smile, and I go,
No, we're serious.
We're serious, and here's why, right? Because you can pay them now when they're on sale, or you can pay them in the future. The problem is you're going to have to pay them at some point.
If
So,
you're-
Bobby, do you guys have a way to show people a visual tool to show them if we pay taxes now while taxes are low, this is what our future is going to look
Yeah,
like?
we've got a great planning tool that we use as part of this process that shows exactly what your income tax liabilities will be in a given year, given the current income tax rates. The problem that we find is we don't know what taxes are going to be in the future.
We don't.
Right? But we can very clearly show you if you front load your income taxes and pay them sooner than later, the numbers are going to be higher now, but you can watch that bomb explode, the RMD bomb explode later on in life when you don't have the planning tools that are available to you now. RMDs are required.
That's right.
And mandatory, right? And you're going to have to pay those taxes. So we can show you what they will be, and if you do planning, how much you'll pay now to sometimes never pay income tax again in retirement.
What's cool, though, is we've created a calculator, for folks to go out there. They can sit at home and do this. It's called plantodaytaxbill.com. Plantodaytaxbill.com. Go take that. It don't take that long. And all you can do is go in there and kind of compare what you're paying now to what we think the future taxes are going to be. Might wake people up, Bobby, to go, hey, I need to come and have a conversation with these guys about doing some Roth conversions.
Yeah, I always tell people, be careful with that. You can't unsee what you're going to owe in taxes,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
I'm joking. Go take the quiz because it's a big number for a lot of folks. And the window's still open to plan for it to reduce it.
Again, plantodaytaxbill.com, plantodaytaxbill.com. All right, Tim, I like this truth or myth question, and we kind of talked about this a little bit. Roth conversions only make sense for young people.
Myth. They make a lot of sense for young people, but we are doing them for folks that are retiring and already retired even. They make sense for a lot of folks right now, and that's because of the economic time that we're in, the tax structure that we have, and the extra deductions that are in place right now.
And even if it doesn't make sense necessarily for you, we met with somebody last week that it was kind of a wash, right?
Okay, so don't do it?
No.
But it actually, for them, it was a wash.
Okay.
If you're going to leave your kids money in an IRA, go ahead and convert it. Because you think your taxes on your IRA are stout, wait until your kids get it. And they've got to pull all that money out in 10 years. that could absolutely blow up their income tax
And their kids
situation.
had good jobs. I think one was, working for
They
a
were high
famous
income.
aircraft carrier.
Yeah, high income earners.
Yep.
And so it wasn't a home run for the client, but it was an absolute home run for their kids.
So Tim, explain what Bobby just said, because in 2017 with the Secure Act, we also lost the thing called stretch IRAs.
That's right.
So tell really quick how that works, because you just mentioned the kids had to pull the money out in 10 years, Bobby. Why?
Yeah, so pre-2020, you were able to inherit an IRA from your parents or whoever it may be, and then take those distributions out. You still had RMDs as the beneficiary
Right.
of that IRA, but you could take those RMDs for the duration of your life and your kids' lives. It could go for 2 generations, which is not true anymore. Now, when you inherit that IRA account from your mom, your dad, whoever it may be, you're forced to pull all those funds out in a 10-year time frame. What that really means is that, hey, if you've done well, you've left $1 million IRA to your son, your daughter, and they inherit that. Now, chances are they're working. They've got a good income coming in.
Their tax bracket just went up.
Let's just call it a $100,000 salary that they have, and now you're going to tack on an extra $100,000 a year. You just jump them 1, maybe 2 tax brackets, and it changes the game for that household.
Big time.
And at the end of the day, we've had a lot of folks who sit down with us and say, well, I don't care. That's free money. They can pay the tax on it. But at the end of the day, I'm sure you want your money, more of what you worked hard for, to go to your kids
Right.
rather than to Uncle Sam.
Right. Bottom line.
Haven't met a lot of folks who said, give extra to Uncle Sam, right?
Right.
And this is a way to be more
Yeah.
efficient.
So again, plantodaytaxbill.com, a great quiz you can do right there from the comfort of your home to see what you think the future taxes might look like on your portfolio. Then come in and have a conversation with Bobby and Tim and Brogan. Let's do a tax planning session for you. It's easy, it's free, which I love, and it can wake you up to see, like, I need to do some Roth conversions now. Something else we're offering today is a free copy of my book, Plan the Day on Tomorrow. All you have to do is call or text 423-710-9199. If you text the word book to 423-710-9199, or simply give the girls a call. They'll send one right out to you absolutely free. After you read the book, come in and have a conversation with the guys. Let's get your retirement planning set up on track. So our last segment, guys, we're going to talk about the 2 things that are near and dear to my heart: income planning and healthcare planning. I want to make sure everybody's 2026 is stable and you got a blueprint moving in. We'll be right back.
Do you want to leave memories or a mess?
So many families are left with confusion, taxes, and even court battles because there was no estate plan.
And it's not just for the wealthy. Estate planning is for everyone.
It protects your family, passes on your values, and ensures your wishes are carried out.
That's a real legacy, more than just money.
It's peace of mind for the people you love.
To get your estate planning guide, text the words Estate Planning Guide to 877-706-7526.
Welcome back to Plan the Day on Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. Thank you for all of you that are watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, listening to us on the radio. We enjoy being here with you guys each and every week, and it's been a while since the 3 of us have been on the show together, so it's been fun for me, and I've enjoyed it. We've really been talking about things to do prior to 2026. How do you get ready for the new year coming up? And we're about to jump into the 2 things that are pretty important here at this firm, and it's really important to me. This is why I got into this industry, because I saw what my family went through. They didn't have anybody helping them with income planning and things like that, and that's what we're going to talk about right now: income planning and healthcare planning. And Bobby, I'm going to start with you. Why is income planning? Why do we talk about income planning over and over and over on this show? Why is it so important?
Well, it's really important because it gives people confidence moving into retirement. If your income is planned for, it feels so much better than sitting on a big pot of cash that you don't know what's going to happen to in the future, right? Make sure you take that asset that you've built for so long and use it to build confidence in your retirement plan. You'll sleep better at night.
It's an absolute mental change to go from getting up, working 8 to 5, or going to your job and having income come in to, okay, now I'm retired and I have to start spending down my assets. It's a total mentality change.
And we see that all the time, Gary. You've seen it for decades. People that are so good at saving their money a lot of them really struggle to spend that money.
That's right.
We
Well, they're
look at
scared, Bobby.
they're
They're scared.
It. And you look at it and say, well, what did you save all this money for if you're not going to spend it? But there really is an emotional thing there about, listen, that's my nest egg. I can't touch it. Well, what are you going to spend in retirement?
Yeah.
So using that tool, that asset to set up a guaranteed retirement income helps people feel better about spending.
That's where that bucket system comes in well
Absolutely.
for us.
Thank you.
Allows
Thank you.
us to use that green bucket to guarantee an income for life that you can't outlive, right? And then they're free to use the red money to let it sit, let it grow if they don't want to touch it, or reach in and pull some out, go on a vacation, buy a new car, whatever you have to do over there. And so by just kind of segregating those buckets and allowing them to be for purposeful use, I think has really helped people get over that mentality of, I'm scared I'm going to run out of money, or I'm
Right.
scared I'm going to spend it all. Right?
Yeah, your father used to call it sleep insurance.
Yep.
Yeah, have some sleep insurance. That way you can go out and have fun and enjoy retirement, especially in those go-go years. You know, when you first retire, you might need a little more income
That's right.
because you're traveling or whatever the case may be.
I like to note here, you make sure you have a paycheck, and you also make sure you have a play check. Right.
You got to have a play check,
Right.
right? Have some fun. That's what retirement's all about. Having some fun. So tell me about healthcare. You know, we talked about income planning. Number one fear in America. The number two fear in America now is getting sick. Longevity risk is real. Healthcare planning has to be part of your portfolio planning.
Yeah. People aren't scared to die anymore, or
Nope.
at least not as much.
That's right. It's the third. It's
Third.
third,
It
right?
used to be number one. when I
Dying
started
is
in here.
third, which
Yeah.
is incredible.
That's a good thing, though, you know?
Yeah.
Getting sick is a real problem, though, and it's one of the things that even if you have that perfect income plan, I talked about an income plan earlier and what it has to include. It has to be net of taxes, and it has to include inflation. If you don't have those two things, that will blow up. The third thing that will blow up your income plan if you haven't prepared for it, if you're not ready for it, is healthcare cost. And I'm not talking about going to the doctor. I'm not talking about copays to get your prescriptions. I'm talking about long-term care costs. It is brutal.
It's brutal.
It will cost you, I think the average cost in the Chattanooga area is about $9,000 a month.
That's for
private.
full skill care. Yeah,
care, yeah.
$2,500 in home,
Yep.
$4,500 assisted living, about $9,000 full skill care, and that's average. I've seen a lot higher.
Imagine adding any one of those to your income
Yeah.
that is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, just $2,500 a month is an extra $30,000 a year net that you have to take on and throw out to get some health care.
Yeah.
Not to mention that health care is, I believe, the highest inflated program in the United States right now.
Absolutely.
And so that is getting very expensive very quickly. And if you don't have some kind of long-term care protection, you will cripple that income plan.
Yeah.
The question is, what kind of long-term care
How do we do it?
protection
How do we structure it,
Yeah.
right? Because 70% is the stat, Bobby. 70% of us are going to need some type of long-term care. So that's why it's so important for you and Tim and Brogan to make sure you have this in the plan.
Yeah, and the cool thing is there's newer tools that you can use to
Right.
plan for long-term care. You know, traditional long-term care insurance is kind of a dinosaur now.
Yep.
If you can qualify for it, it's expensive. There's no guarantee that it won't go up in the future. You know, spoiler alert, they all do, right? We see all the time people come in and
It's
say,
insane.
I've had this long-term care insurance for 15, 20 years, and now
They're
I've either got to pay more or lose
28%
it.
increase.
Right? It's
yeah.
insane. And so there's a lot of insurance companies that offer really good income-driven fixed indexed annuities, which we use a lot of times in our green bucket to guarantee income. Oh, by the way, some insurance companies are saying, God forbid you do get sick, we'll double that income for a set amount of time. That's huge,
Sure.
right? And the great thing about it is, unlike traditional long-term care
Mhm.
insurance, where you have to be in a facility, you have to have a bill, you submit the bill to the insurance company, they tear it up and say this wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
It's a mess. This pays you cash to your checking account, and you can use it as you need to for
Right.
your care.
Right.
You can help bring folks into the home to help you. That's a good point, Gary. You don't have to be in a facility.
You do not have to be in a facility.
You can-
ADL driven.
You can be at home. You can use the money to put a ramp on the house. You can use it to redo your bathroom, to make it more accessible. Whatever you need, it can help you pay for.
So you know, Bobby just brought up the A word, fixed indexed annuities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's amazing to me that if you look at over the last really 10 years, the billions and billions of increasing amounts of money that are going into annuities now. Annuities are good. The only bad annuities are the bad annuities.
Yeah, and they're also
don't
out there.
don't bash the good ones because there's bad ones, Bobby. Because there's some great ones out there.
Gary, you know this. I spent the first part of my career at a shop that bashed annuities. I got really good at it, right? I got really good at bashing annuities because there's two or three things that, you know, annuities have done in the past, and if you get in the wrong one, yeah, it's not a good fit for you. But man, what an awesome tool it is. Not to put all your money in, but
No.
if you're looking to guarantee an income, I'd be hard pressed to find a better tool to do it.
I can't think of anything.
It's
Do you know what a
incredible.
pension is?
It's an annuity.
It's an annuity.
Yeah.
Do you know if you win the lottery what that is?
It's an annuity.
That's an annuity.
Yeah.
I mean, it blows me away. And, you know, Bobby, you and I had a fun show about annuities last week, you know, went way back in the Roman Empire days and, you know, how they used annuities and they've just continued to grow. And like I just said, they continue to go up every year. And the only thing people are doing is going, hey, I need some security. I need a guaranteed paycheck. And now he's saying that they'll double the paycheck if you get sick, Tim.
Yep. Yeah, there's multiple ways to structure these. To that point, the only bad annuity is the one that's not right for you, right?
Yeah, it's got to be a good fit.
Yeah.
You wouldn't use a hammer to put a screw in, right?
Exactly.
That's
well,
what
I've
we
tried
often
that. It didn't go well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
There
tried
you
to.
go. There's your
Yeah,
point, right?
yeah, exactly.
And at the end of the day, it's just having the tool that's right for the job. The cool thing about these annuity programs is it solves that immediate need for, hey, we're going to make sure you have guaranteed income for life. You can't outlive it. It
Period.
can't go away. Plain and simple. And they have all these added benefits to them, like long-term care doublers and whatnot. Right
Yeah,
now.
and the cool thing is it's not really what we're talking about now, but it can be a great investment vehicle, like a fixed income alternative.
That's
Oh,
right.
absolutely.
Even if you don't need a fixed paycheck in the future, it's a good investment tool that fills the spot that bonds did traditionally for
That's
a
right.
long time. And again, if they're structured right, guaranteed not to lose money in these contracts.
That's right.
So, Bobby, you just went back to the, 60-40, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, where bonds have not done great, right? They've not been consistent like they were back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So you're saying use more of a growth fixed index annuity versus an income annuity. So there's different types of annuities out there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there are a lot of different types of annuities. What we're talking about today is a fixed indexed annuity. And even when you get into that section, there are different types, right? Accumulation annuities versus income annuities.
Right.
Bonds are in a tough spot, and they have been for a while. We don't see it getting better for the short to intermediate term for a while. So if you're looking for safety in an investment portfolio, it's worth having a conversation about a fixed indexed annuity being in the bond space.
Yeah, I love that. Bobby, truth or myth? Medicare covers long-term care.
Myth for the most part. It cover 100 days.
Can cover up to
Up to
100
100
days if it
you are
qualifies.
in the hospital beforehand.
Yeah.
So that is a myth, right? Medicare will cover it to get you back on your feet. If you get in a situation where you need long-term care for a long period of time or on a permanent basis, Medicare's not going to cover
Yeah.
it.
Correct.
Absolutely not.
And how many people how helpful it is for you guys? When you got somebody in here and we start talking about healthcare planning, you can walk right down the hallway and talk to Tanner Moore. I think that's I want to drive home to people right now as we're closing the show. We're not just going to talk about your money growing. We're just not going to just talk about income. We're not going to just talk about long-term care planning or Medicare planning. We look at the full picture, Bobby, and I think that's so important.
It's vital. And that space is so complicated and changes so quickly that you really need somebody that does it every day to stay
Agreed.
on top of it. And we love being able to talk to clients and prospects and saying, listen, we know enough in that space to be dangerous. We know enough that you need to go talk to Tanner.
Yeah,
Right.
it
And he'll
helps,
make sure
right?
you get in the spot that you need to be. Because if people are getting ready for Medicare, all the time we talk, well, I'll just sign up for Medicare. What does that mean, right? There are so many options within the Medicare system and additions to and supplement policies and all that.
It's
you need
hard.
to make sure that it fits you. And Tanner's awesome. at
He
that.
is.
It is good.
But Tim, we need money in the market. We need money in a bucket that's going to give us guaranteed income, and we need our emergency bucket. If you do those three things, like we show everybody, doesn't it make retirement a little less stressful?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot less stressful. I like that.
It changes the aspect, changes your mindset, helps give you kind of a picture and a plan as to what's going on. Now we get deeper into that plan and show how it works each and every year. We talk about the taxes of it and how everything works, but crucial and it should be the way that everybody plans for it.
100%.
My favorite part is people getting nervous for retirement come see us and they go, man, I'm ready. I don't want to wait a month.
Yeah, I don't
wish
know
I could
wait.
do it
I don't know
tomorrow."
wait. Hey, something we're offering you guys today is a copy of my book, Plan the Day on Tomorrow, absolutely free. Call 423-710-9199. Tell Bridget or Abby you'd like for them to send you a book out, or simply text the word book to the same number, 423-710-9199. Again, text the word book, 423-710-9199. We'll send a copy right out. Guys, great show.
It's
Enjoyed
fun.
it.
Hey, looking forward to seeing you guys next week on Plan the Day on Tomorrow. Have a wonderful week. God bless. Take care.